question is, what is sin? Well, before we answer that question, let's emphasize with another verse this same point that the devil sinned at the very beginning. Notice 1 John chapter 3 and verse 8. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 8. Explicitly, the Bible tells us that the devil sinned not from Mount Sinai on, because some people think that the law started at Mount Sinai with Moses. No, sin originated in heaven before this world was even created. And so it says in 1 John 3 verse 8, he who sins is of the devil, for the devil has sinned from Mount Sinai. That's not what it says, right? The devil has sinned from when? From the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. But you say, Pastor Bor, what is sin? You say, okay, it says in Ezekiel and it says in 1 John that the devil sinned in heaven, Lucifer sinned and he became the devil. What is sin? Notice 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. 1 John 3 and verse 4. It says, whoever commits sin also commits lawlessness. And sin is lawlessness. I like the way the King James expresses it. Sin is the transgression of the law. In other words, sin is breaking God's holy law. So let me ask you something. Did the law have to exist in heaven in order for Lucifer to sin? I mean, all you have to do is add 2 plus 2 equals 4. I mean, if he sinned, there must have been a law, because sin is transgression of the law. But you know, he didn't sin by himself. In fact, the Bible says that he started bad-mouthing God. He started talking to the angels and saying, you know, God's laws are unjust. We're very developed beings. We don't need any law to govern us. In fact, notice Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 16 once again. It says there, by the abundance of your trading, you became filled with violence within, and you sinned. Now, what does that word trading mean? By the abundance of your trading, you were filled with violence, and you violence within, and you sinned. Well, we need to look at some other verses that use that same root Hebrew word. So let's look at a couple of statements in the Old Testament that use the same root as that word trading that is found in Ezekiel 28 verse 16. Go with me a little earlier in Ezekiel to chapter 22 and verse 9. Ezekiel 22 and verse 9. Remember, this is the same root word. And it says there, in you are men who what? Who slander. That's the same root word, by the way. Who slander to cause bloodshed. In you are those who eat on the mountains. In your midst, they commit lewdness. So notice, God says, in you are men who slander to cause bloodshed. That word slander is the same root word that is used for trading in Ezekiel 28 and verse 16. Notice another verse that uses the same root word. Leviticus 19 and verse 16. Leviticus 19 verse 16. It says there, you shall not go about as a talebearer. Interesting. The same root word. How is it translated? Talebearer. You shall not go about as a talebearer among your people, nor shall you take a stand against the life of your neighbor. I am the Lord. And so, what did Lucifer do? It says that he began trading. He began to slander. He began telling tales, if you please.